Alright guys, TouchGrabby back again today. Hope you're enjoying your Friday so far. Today we're going to talk about these booting situations that are going on once again at the CDL Championships right now. Out of 4 series we've played so far, 2 of them have had actual players lag out of the game. One of them in Proto, that was Seattle Surge versus the Paris Legion on the first day, also had some issues. The only series where we haven't seen too much was yesterday New York Sublands versus Minnesota Rocker, but even then Asim was saying that he was getting some like red bars on his screen and stuff, which maybe means someone was trying to do a similar thing to him in this one. Going to talk about today exactly what might be going on here behind the scenes, why maybe this hasn't happened so far this season, and also some solutions that the CDL could consider to make champs an actual competitive integrity, well, improve the competitive integrity, let's just put it that way, for the World Championships with $4.6 million on the line, let's not forget. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new as always. Lots of support lately on the channel over the last couple of days, so let's keep that going if we can. Draft Buff, Draft Royale as well will be linked down below for tonight. There's a really clean link now, just draftbuff.com/join/TouchGrab, and that will take you to the latest Draft Buff or whatever is happens to be going on at the time. So cool stuff. Thanks to the Draft Buff guys for sorting out this cool link for us. Let's talk about the situation and set the scene real quick once again. So as Slasher said last night, I tried to tell you guys it needed to be postponed. Can't just have the tournament for the sake of having it when it is this unfair right now. Then Looney says, easy to say because I'm not competing, but Austin said this yesterday, players need to take a stand. Some players will benefit because they're given free cash, so unless it happens to them, they are chilling. Unfortunately, as Octane says, it's almost if months ago the players said that this would happen and players would start to get booted at champs, but as per usual, we're complaining and do not know what we are talking about. And this is a tweet that we talked about yesterday from Trey. I don't care about a fine or anything. There's zero chance this tournament can go ahead as it is right now. $4.6 million online with 100,000 prize to someone who predicts the bracket right. And that's the question right now. Is this, is the bracket being manipulated by someone who's booting people behind the scenes to make their perfect bracket in that $100,000 championship? And to be honest, $100,000 is obviously a life-changing amount of money. Getting the entire bracket right, even with booting, would be very difficult to do because you'd have to get all the match scores perfect. It's not just like one team wins, it's they have to win in a 3-0, 3-1 or 3-2 fashion depending on what you predicted. And if that eventually goes awry for everyone's bracket, then will this entire thing stop? Maybe not, because it might just be someone actually just putting bets on matches rather than for the $100,000, you know, championship for this online bracket. And to be honest, even if you don't get the bracket perfect, the best bracket still wins 10k, which, you know, pretty significant amount of money for sure. And as, Credit City Intel tweets out, don't trust any of you. Yeah, there's 38 brackets. I think this now is down to like 17, but, there's 17 or 38 people, something in that vicinity. It will soon go to 0, I'm sure. People who have perfect brackets in the, the entirety of the CDL champs this year. We're only 2 days in. This isn't getting very far. Once it drops down to 0, are one of these 38 people that there's someone who's doing this booting behind the scenes? Who knows? Maybe that's not overwhelmingly likely, but, you've got to consider the possibility, right? A lot of money on the line for getting the perfect predictions. It's not out of the question that someone's going to fire up the booter, get rid of Kenny, get rid of Zero, get rid of whatever it takes for them to try and get their hands on all that money. And when you consider the amount of money, I think in the US now it's legal in Nevada to do this, esports betting and stuff like that. Who knows whether that's going on as well. As Paddy P says in this long thread, then I thought this was pretty interesting because Rated talks about what is the difference, or what is with the combined 150 points thing. What's the difference if the game is within 30 points? Discussing that, the fact that the rules right now for the resets in the CDL hard points, if both teams combined have more than 150 points, then basically the game isn't going to get replayed. But as Clayster says, say it's 175 to 170, but you lose a money hill rotation, pull the plug for a restart. Clayster's been talking about this like so often, right? The opportunity for players to actually cheat in this instance. But I think X has a nice conclusion to this thread, saying that, okay, yes, that's not, it's a possibility, right, that can't be ignored. But, having a situation where we actually trust our players and, get to a better point of competitive integrity, as X discusses, is maybe better than not bothering at all, just because there's the possibility that, players might use this to their advantage in the ways that Clayster is describing. As X says, I just don't see anyone in the league doing that. That rule would make sense if you were playing versus randoms. Everyone is competitors who just want the chance to play fairly. Yeah, I want to believe that and agree, but you never know. But get this, imagine if refs did what refs are supposed to do and make judgment calls on tough situations. And, and as Clayster says, this may not be perfect, but I do think this would be a nice conclusion, right? The fact that, yes, the referees are there. If there's a situation where it's 160 to 140, as we saw with Zero yesterday, but they have the rotation, that seems kind of a fair spot for a restart. As, maybe if it's not a perfect situation, then you don't restart it, and maybe you make it referee discretion, but at least then you get the point where, yes, okay, it's not black and white, and, some teams are going to be benefited, some teams are not going to be, but maybe it makes it a better viewing experience, right, where, obvious restarts can just be obvious restarts, regardless of what the rules say. I don't know, it's a tough line to draw for sure. One of the main points against having a ref make a decision is that in real life sports, you can see what players are doing, illegally. You have no idea if it was a real lag out or done on purpose. Aren't players under a body cam at all times for integrity reasons? And, there's one cam to watch your PlayStation. There's so many alternatives to that. I love how, Clayster's going into the details here. Say I have someone in the room next to me and we have some sort of code word I say and he does it for me. I mean, you can't discount this out of the question, but it just feels like the fact that, we're not doing anything to try and prevent this just because this is a possibility is maybe not ideal either. Bro, if someone goes to that extent because they lost a 175, 170 money hill rotation, they shouldn't be in the league. I know for a fact no one in the league would set up a code word system with their friend in another room to cut the internet. I'm just playing devil's advocate. There's not a good solution. I'm just pointing out the issues with the ones that people propose. I firmly believe there is a minimum one person in the group of 60 plus that is unethical. This is the talk about that TeamSpeak thing, which we're going to look at in a second. Being paranoid and not allowing a feasible solution is stupid though. I don't think anyone would do that because their team wouldn't want them to and they'd get dropped if they did. Not to mention it's a maximum of 1 times the tournament you'd even be able to do it, or 1 tournament you'd even be able to do it. No one in the top 8 would. Talking about the Houston Astros, I believe in baseball, they cheated throughout the playoffs. Isn't being paranoid, it's just understanding the line for abuse and what we can do to mitigate that. But the alternative is, instead of implementing something good but not perfect, let's just allow this situation to keep on happening. We get this from Adam Apicella as well. Also, if any of the pros are hanging out in Skype calls, TeamSpeak, Discord, etc. with a large group of pros and randoms, maybe reconsider that to avoid vulnerability or exposure of crucial information. As Nimby over at the CDL says, this is why we segment off traffic, gameplay on its own IP space, other things, but it still hasn't seemed to happen. And even Zero talking yesterday how he changed his IP, that didn't seem to have a big impact on what happened yesterday. Adam Apicella follows up with this: if people are being hit off, then playing it privately on new gamer tags, recording the result and posting as if it was live would be a viable option. This is something which we come to the point of the video where we have to discuss what can the CDL do about this if they want to, because yes, it is a possibility that we pre-record these and make them live after the fact. There's some issues with that. I don't think it's as fun to watch when you kind of know that it's not actually live. But, if this would prevent some of the people getting hit off, because if this is happening because of people putting bets on matches, you've got to think that if you pre-recorded the matches and made them live 30 minutes later, that wouldn't allow these people to know who was winning, who was losing the series, and know who to boot to get the result they were looking for in terms of their betting prediction. Then again, how easy would this be to do? You've then got the question of, are the pros going to tweet stuff out, which I'm sure they would. You got the pros all signed to NDAs and stuff, so they can't do any tweets regarding the matches. I mean, people will be looking into these tweets like Sherlock Holmes, right? They'll be looking at a tweet where someone says mind blown, be like, yo, what does that mean? Has he won the series? Has he lost the series? Has he been kicked off or something like that, right? That would be the question. And as Lacefield follows up with, since Champs was online this year, it should have been pre-recorded. It would have been dope as hell production wise and way safer when playing for 4.2, actually $4.6 million in this World Championship. So what do you guys think about that? Because I don't imagine much changes the next 3 days. Maybe they implement something for the weekend, but probably tonight's matches are going to be the same situation as they have been last time. However, the championship weekends, maybe they decide, or maybe they realize that we maybe have to do something and maybe have to implement something here to make sure this isn't going to, taint our championship weekends when that's the actual big one and we've got the grand finals on the line. Maybe that becomes pre-recorded. That really seems to be the only viable solution to prevent some of this stuff. It's far from ideal either way. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below and your suggestions on what the CDL should do. Is it just worth to kind of suck it up and hope this doesn't happen and, do their best to get the pros on different IPs so they can't get kicked off? But, clearly that really helped Zero in yesterday's matches based on what he is saying. If this continues to happen like every series or every other series, it's just going to taint Champs to such a degree that it's probably just going to be better to have it pre-recorded and made live after the fact, even though that has some issues in itself. And even then, if you're betting on a match and you think that someone's going to win, you might still be able to try and boot people off based on how far behind the stream delay is and try and guess and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't completely eliminate the issue. It might be better, but it's not as exciting, right? So it's tough to say. Just to finish off with, these are the matches then that come on tonight. So August 21st, that is today. Huntsman Subliners, Mutineers, Toronto Ultra. Big series. Winner of the Huntsman Subliners goes on to face Atlanta FaZe. Mutineers versus Toronto Ultra goes on to face the Dallas Empire in the winner's side. They're also doing this CoD Mobile thing with the Sony Xperia partnership they now have. So that goes down at 2 PM Eastern time before the matches go live. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy back with another little clip on Modern Warfare. This is just, this is just one of 1,000 a day. Yeah, 1,000. Like, look at this. This is what Call of Duty's come to, has it? Okay, let me see the kill cam. Okay, no danger. Are you fucking what? Am I smoking the rocks or it's like... What? Bearing in mind, I'm not even weak. Fresh off spawn. Bottom L, you know the vibes. Look at that. You fucking what? What?